Yes, the first walk-in of the Chicago Bears 2025 NFL season. The first walk-in. Yes, it's a staple on the channel. Now, typically I do the walk-in when I'm freaking pissed, right? Little time, sometimes I do it when I'm happy, but I'm content. I'm content, right? I'm content. So, I'm kind of doing like a little bit of a mini, I guess, somewhat of a game recap. My uncle Daryl, I'll see if I can get him on the channel and we can talk a bit about, preseason week, one in terms of how the team looked, later. But the reason why I want to do it now, plus I think he said he threw out his back, so I don't want him to put no pressure. So I thought I would just kind of do a little bit of an overview, like recap of what I saw from today's preseason game of Bears versus Dolphins today, which was ended in a tie. I thought the Bears were going to find a way and end up winning the game, but Austin Reed said, "No, no, no, I'm not going to do that," because he continued to throw to number 82 at the end of the game, who continued to drop passes. Yeah. So there's that. They almost honestly lost the game, because the Miami Dolphins were about to do that pitch stuff, and I'm thinking like, bro, really? But no, they didn't. The game ended in a tie because it's preseason and there's no need to go to overtime. So already two ties this preseason because the Raiders and the Seahawks tied in preseason week one. So the Bears obviously had that. I'm just gonna kind of talk about some people that I thought did good, some people that I thought didn't do well, and things like that. So yes. Regardless, here, let's obviously kind of start off with the bad, right? The people that I thought didn't do a good job in this game. I think number one, I think we can all see because I already made a video about it, talking about it, but I think in one instance, Ben Johnson didn't do a good job strictly because he decided to sit the starters. Yet I turn around and I see almost half the NFL teams in the league playing their starters in week one, whether it is just one series or two series. Like, again, it's like I said in my video. I don't know why Ben Johnson truly believes in a practice like setting for a joint practice against a team, right? You thought the best idea was to sit your starters, especially on the offensive side of the ball, when your offense needs to basically get an understanding, a better understanding, get some live game reps of how to you do the offense and stuff like that, right? And basically, use it to get more accumulated to the offense and running the offense. So then they could further prepare for week one against the Vikings. No, we didn't decide to do that. And speaking of, the Miami Dolphins, on the other hand, they put out their starters. Tua played today, and he only played one series. You're telling me the Miami Dolphins played their starters, but we didn't want to play ours because Ben Johnson rather go routes on air. It's like I said in my video. It's the first thing that I've disagreed with frickin' Ben Johnson with. For a team, for an offense that, the dude talked about in his press conferences after practice that there is still some pre-snap issues and it needs to get cleaned up, you would think maybe getting the starting offense some live reps would help. That's what all these other NFL teams did. They got their quarterbacks reps. They didn't sit them. It's just like freaking with last year at the Hall of Fame game. I'm looking at this year, most of the rookie quarterbacks are fucking playing, whether they're a starter or they're basically going to be a backup going into week one. Cam Ward played, and he's the number one overall pick. But no, last year in the Hall of Fame game, we didn't have Caleb Williams play. Why are we not playing Caleb Williams preseason week one when you only got three games? He needs to get acclimated to the offense. He needs to understand the offense, and he needs live game reps. A fucking joint practice is not going to do anything. The guy better play for a whole half next week against Buffalo. I'll be going to Chicago, but by the time I get to Chicago, it'll be past the preseason game, so I won't be able to catch it. Anyways, I'll be going to Chicago regardless. But the fact that I won't be able to probably see at least maybe potentially a half of Bears football on the offense side of the ball with Caleb Williams does disappoint me. But who's to say I can go back next year or maybe, at some point catch a game, in Chicago. I'd rather go see a regular season game, but maybe that'll have to be a trip next year where I go. Right? You get the point. You get the understanding. You get the point. Caleb Williams should have played week one. So that's number one bad of the day for Ben Johnson. And if you really think, 70 reps of, routes on air before a game starts, is good, and then you're gonna do another 25 tomorrow, like that doesn't help anything. But all right, that's what Ben Johnson's plan is. But you know, I already know they're having a joint practice against the Bills next week. So regardless, even if they do have a joint practice, Caleb Williams better play, and I expect him to play a full half. Like, my God, bro, my God. Another bad. George McCaskey and Stacey Dales in the booth. They brought George McCaskey in the booth, and my God, bro, oh man. He did talk a bit about the hiring of Ben Johnson. He talked about like, well, it was the hire that everybody wanted, even though it would typically those are not the right decisions to make. And I'm just like, dumbass. Why would you say that? And then don't even get me started. This is more Stacey Dales than George McCaskey because Stacey Dales needs to do her reporting correctly and actually understand that the owner is not a guy that understands the sport of football. Stacey Dales just was bad. I didn't think she was particularly good in the booth today. Like, let's just be honest. I didn't think she was particularly good. But I think the two standout moments for me was she asked George, like, so what's your thoughts on Caleb and what you've seen? And George McCaskey pauses for a good 5, 10 seconds, saying absolutely nothing. And I'm like, why are you asking him this question? He doesn't know dick about the freaking football team. He doesn't care. He's basically a fan, a quote unquote fan that doesn't know anything to do with football. So I don't understand why George McCaskey calls it like he's a freaking fan, but he knows nothing about the sport of football. He's just basically a ticket salesman, which is my current job, yet I know sports. Why she asked that question to him, I have no clue. Why obviously George McCaskey paused for 5 to 10 minutes, I have no clue. He's your starting quarterback. You would think after all these years of this dude's life hold, he would know some semblance of the sport of football, but he doesn't because he's a beta male. Good God. Don't bring him in the booth again, please. Oh, oh, brother. And then obviously talk about the stadium deal a little bit, even though the day before that's another bad. Who the hell cares about what the hell progress is? It sounds like they want to do Arlington Heights. Well, then set the land and start putting, ground in Arlington Heights. I don't just understand. Get the shit done, bro. Maybe, and then they keep spreading the word talking about, well, we need to convince, people to do it, right? If you need to convince people, bro, like, bruh, of course, the state of Illinois is like, bro, you really think you deserve a stadium after the shit we always see from a year to year basis? Please, you don't deserve no new stadium. Which still doesn't make the sense why the McCoskey families don't just use their own damn money. Their money, they got a lot of money to make a new stadium, but no, they don't want to do it. They need some of that freaking city money. Anyways, just get the damn done. The damn stadium, groundbreaking in 2025, like you said you were before it ends up coming out to be a fucking lie. And it clearly is the plan is Arlington Heights. It should have always been Arlington Heights, not the fucking city. Just do it in Arlington Heights, break ground in Arlington Heights, and move the fuck on. If the city is being unreasonable, you know what you need to do next. And let's go to Arlington Heights and deal with it. For fans that don't like that decision, too damn bad. All right, I stay and another question, Stacey Dales. I was just, bro, she's getting memed on, and this is a meme going on into freaking Twitter, right? Stacey Dales, for whatever reason, asked Roma Dunze about, the fusion, if, the fact that a baby between him and DJ Moore would be essentially Luther Burden. Now, albeit she said, I got a source from like a coach on the staff, that said that, but regardless, she still asked the question, bro. Like, why are you asking that question to the guy? Even Roma Dunze is like, bro, what the fuck? I don't know what the hell Stacey Dales was thinking before she said that. She clearly didn't think before she said it, but whatever. So there's that. And I guess one more outside of the sports thing that was bad was probably the fucking patches. My fucking God. Now, the thing is, because of Virginia McCaskey passing, what's his face? They're gonna only be wearing the blue jerseys with the white pants and then the white jerseys with the blue pants. Why they just don't have the white on white, I have no fucking clue. But they're completely doing away with their alternative jerseys. So there will be no that 1940s white jersey look of the Bears, and there will be no orange helmet with the orange jersey look for the Bears this year, right? It's just gonna be a regular classic look because apparently Virginia McCaskey did not like alternative jerseys. She liked the tried and true regular jersey. Okay, I guess. I guess that's the way to pay respect. That's fucking jersey. Just imagine a fucking owner for another NFL team passes away, and the next thing that said team is like, we're wearing no alternative jerseys because said owner never liked the alternative jerseys. Now, again, it's not like the Bears' alternative jerseys are any good. Like, personally, if you ask me, the orange jersey is fine. I would rather have the blue helmet or maybe a white helmet to go with it as opposed to a fucking orange on orange helmet because I don't like that personally. I don't like that look. And honestly, if you ask me, that's more of a cursed look. That jersey has not done good the past few years. That combination, right? But this big ass patch, right? They have this big ass patch on the freaking chest plate of the jersey, like above basically the numbers, right? Is this big ass freaking patch that I'm just like, that patch is really big. Can they make that patch a little bit smaller? It doesn't need to be that damn big. But it's that big. Now, it's obviously, if you look through the history, it's kind of the same patch they did back in the 1980s after George McCaskey died, the original owner and founder of the Chicago Bears, and it was kind of the same thing there. Now, the only difference with the patch is that in the original patch, all of the letters in his name, or which are his initials, were all big. For the Virginia McCaskey patch, right? The only thing that is big is the M. The V and the M, the V and the H, they're not too freaking big. You can barely see them. But the H, lo and behold, or the M is lo and behold big because guess the fuck what? We want to show McCaskey. Yeah, if that isn't some type of propaganda that they're spewing, I don't know what that is. Personally, the patch could be smaller. That's what I would have done. And I just don't see why they could have just not put it on the back of the helmet as a sticker because they did that with Steve Mongo. Steve McMichael has that thing, not a patch on the jersey, too. So where is the patch on the jersey, too? I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Why that patch need to be so big, I have no clue. All right, enough about the extracurriculars, football stuff. All right, what were the bads, right? The bads. He wasn't really bad, but I thought he was all right, but it could have been better. And that's Tyson Bagent. Tyson Bagent was fine. Honestly, lean more to the fact that he was kind of under more bad than good, but he was neutral, to be honest. He did some good things, okay, what the hell are we doing? But other than that, it wasn't a really strong outing for Tyson Bagent. It's kind of the same old stuff we kind of been seeing the past few years, right? You know, he really doesn't have the strongest arm, so it does feel like he's throwing slow balls to the receivers and not a lot of velocity is on there. It gets to the receivers, but again, he doesn't have the best and strongest of arms. But he was fine. He did miss Luther Burden in the end zone because he was running, or he was rolling out, and then he checked it down to a tight end, but Luther Burden was wide open in the back of the end zone, rolling with him. Don't know why he didn't throw that, but okay. He just checked it down, so there is that. But Tyson Bagent was all right. Wasn't nothing really too big. Honestly, thought Case Keenum played better than he did. Like it just felt like that, and then that's kind of the thing right there. Hold on a quick second, guys. All right, so yeah, Austin Reed, who is gonna essentially be the practice squad quarterback. He's no better either. Like he particularly didn't look good. Like I thought honestly he looked better in last preseason. But this year's preseason, he didn't look too good. So regardless, that doesn't mean anything much of anything, right? Another bad that I thought was in my honest opinion, special teams. Special teams was not good today. And that's mostly with the kickoff coverage and the punt coverage. Um, it just wasn't good. Richard Hightower needs to be up in the film room with the special teams dude and basically make it known to these guys like next week against the Bills better be better. It's just too many times that the Dolphins got out damn near close to midfield, and it obviously led them to getting closer into the red zone. If that is not cleaned up by the regular season, man, I don't know what that says, bro. Because you're putting more pressure on your defense to get stops and everything instead of pinning a team or having a team basically back at their own 20 or maybe 25-yard line. They're already either on the 35-yard line or the 40-yard line. Like, bruh, the punt coverage was not good. The kickoff coverage was not good either. Stay in your fucking lanes, get off your blocks, and make a fucking tackle. Which leads me to kind of somewhat of the special teams and the defense. Tackling is still a problem. There was multiple times in this game that Bears players had the Dolphins players probably there for a loss right then and there, and they missed fucking tackles. And I'm just like, yo, bro, we can't have this shit right now. I'm not gonna go into this season where I'm seeing this team miss tackles. That was an issue last year. It was an issue the year before that. That's got to be cleaned up. I know Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson. They're gonna make sure and hit it home to the defensive players. Finish on your tackles. Frickin' get yourself situated for a tackle. Make the tackle. Do not miss it because that just gets teams extra unnecessary yards that they don't need for us. So the tackling issue needs to be fixed, right? Um, I thought Nashawn Wright was all right, but honestly, he didn't really stand out too much to me. I know he's been getting the talk of the town in camp, and he's had he had a really good joint practice with the Dolphins. But honestly, I wasn't really too impressed with what I saw for him in a live game setting. Like, again, it's one thing to look really good in practice, but when it's time for the lights to come on, like, it's time to step your game up. And he didn't really look too good today, personally, if you ask me. Trey Flowers didn't look too good. He was kind of getting religiously fucking cooked, if you ask me. He is, so that's the thing. He was getting cooked. Josh Blackwell was fine at some points, but he didn't look good either. He was getting cooked, but I thought he was fine. I thought it was fine, right, from what I saw there from him. So there's that. Zach Pickens didn't look too much. He didn't look too good, if you ask me. He didn't really look that good. Um, like he didn't look that good to me. Like Zach Pickens is a third year player. He's honestly on my list for probably being cut, and it's clear he's a bust of a pick by Ryan Poles. But he didn't look good. Like I think he got one sack, but I don't fucking remember. Dominic Robinson, I'll say he's more neutral good than neutral bad, but even then, still feel like he didn't make enough of an impact like he needed to make. So there's that right then and there. But regardless, those are kind of my bad. Well, oh, my bad, my bad. So sorry, not okay. And then the last few things, I guess, were bad. Um, I would have to say number 63 when the game first started out on offensive line. Good God, bro. That I don't know if he's in a competition for any position on that offensive line, but number 63 to start off the game, if you go back and watch, dude was terrible, bro. It's the reason why the offense didn't really get off to a good start the first two offensive drives because he was just giving up pressures right up the fucking middle. And I'm just like, what the actual hell, bro? And the moment they took him out, the offensive line looked better. So I don't know who that was. Put in the comment section whoever number 63 was, but he wasn't good. And I think the last person I thought didn't do a good job was good old Braxton Jones. He did not look good out there, guys. He did not look good out there. Like, if anything, he looked bad. And again, um, with Braxton Jones, it's the same old with this guy. Like, same old stuff that I've seen the past few years, the past 3 seasons. He doesn't do well against the bull rush. He'll whiff on a block sometimes, and it leads to a free rusher going at the quarterback. I think the one play that everybody's talking about is on the touchdown play. Taysom Bagent threw into the back of the end zone. Which was a nice pass. That was a nice pass. That was one of the better Tyson Bagent moments, right? Um, Bryson Jones completely whiffed on a fucking block. Like the lineman just did a simple swim move, moved him out the way, and he was guns ablazing right at Tyson Bagent. Obviously, Tyson Bagent got the ball out of his hands. He probably had to, throw it a little bit sooner than he had to do it, and he put it at least in a good spot to where it wasn't overthrown. Receiver went up, got it, and kept 2 feet in bounds. But when you look at plays like you saw there, it's like, bro, what are we doing? Why are we wasting our time with Braxton Jones, who we know what he is at this point in time? And we know what he is. He's a fifth round draft pick that is just an average at best left tackle. He's an average starting left tackle. He's not no dominant dude that deserves to get paid probably even more than $10 million, right? He's a guy that probably you would either give $5 or $7 million to. He's not a guy that's worth 10, 15, and damn near not worth 20 million. So he did not look impressive yesterday or today. Well, I'm recording. Yeah, he did not look impressive. It wasn't good. And it only further confirms to me, in my opinion, and other Bear fans are saying this, is that Ozzy Trapillo more than likely going into week one, albeit it will be a crazy test because they'll either be going up against Grenard or not Will Anderson. I forgot the other guy that they had, the other Bama boy that they got. Um, what is it? Um, it just shows that Ozzy Trapillo's needs to be the starter because we've seen enough of it enough when it comes to Braxton. I'd rather see what Ozzy's got, and Ozzy did play. There were some things he did good, some things he didn't get. He obviously struggled on, but regardless, like I think it's clear at this point, he probably is the best option to work with at left tackle. Like I would go with Ozzy even as a rookie, because you know I say, it's time. I think he's earned it, and we've seen what's to see with Braxton Jones. And especially with Kieran Amadagaji being injured again. Shocker. A bust of a pick there. We can't see if Karan is any better because he can't stay healthy. So hopefully, you know, they don't give Braxton Jones the job because, oh, he's been on this team and veteran rights, because then that would completely go against whatever Ben Johnson's been preaching about, the depth that everybody, is in competition and there is no depth chart and your job is not secured. I'd rather see Ozzy Trapillo be the starter week one as opposed to Braxton Jones. Because by then you can maybe go find a trade partner for Braxton Jones, trade him to a team that's willing to give a chance to him and maybe be their starter. So then you can get some compensation back. But I think at this point in time, we already know what Braxton Jones is. He's average at best, and it's at the point like you know you can get better production. And it's kind of the situation of why let him walk for nothing when you can just have him back up Ozzy Trapillo and or maybe before the season starts, maybe just find a trade destination for him for a team that's willing to take him. Maybe the Chargers may take a gander on him, especially the fact that they just lost Rashawn Slater. But you never know. Teams would be willing to take maybe a Braxton Jones. Obviously, I think again you can get maybe a fourth, fifth round, late round draft pick for him. It's still compensation. Again, Braxton Jones comes across to me like a freaking Charles Leno Jr. It's just a guy that's average at best. If he plays crazy good, then okay, he's no problem. But that might be like 1 year out of like the many other years in his career, right? So there's that. But that's enough of the bad for me. That's kind of the thing. Some of the good. I think number one, we can all admit, Austin Booker, he stood out today. He was just really good. He was creating havoc, creating pressures. He forced a fumble today on Quinn Ewers, who, good God, bro. If this is what Ewers is going to look like against fucking second and third stringers, my God. Sarkisian just had fucking too much loyalty to this guy because Arch Manning should have been starting. But regardless, right? He looked good today. And if he can execute and play somewhat, again, I know I already figured he's not going to do this shit against starting caliber players and be dominant like that. But if he can show some of what he showed today, when it really matters and against starters, well, then it just helps us with more depth on the defensive edge, to help out Montez Sweat. So, props to freaking Austin Booker. He did a really good job today. I liked it. I liked what I saw from him. Another standout was Noah Sewell. Noah Sewell, he was a standout for me. He made an impact today, and he was really good. I think you could say, probably the best play of the day for him was stuffing that run on fourth down. And I think he went straight through A gap and just crushed the running back right there. And he's in competition to potentially be linebacker number three. He looked good today. He looked really good today on the drives that he played in. Like, it really has to question, like, it looked like Dennis Allen looked like he got is so far, mind you, he's got more out of Noah Sewell than whatever the hell Eberflus did. Probably because Dennis Allen's more of an aggressive guy. Eberflus is more of a laid back. I'm gonna go sit in my zone coverage type of defense, right? But you get my point. Like it wasn't good, so you have to question whatever role that they initially had for Noah Sewell back with Eberflus because he stood out today. I'll take it. He looked really good today. Ruben Hippolyte was also a little bit solid. Still some things to work on, but regardless, solid, as is, but could be a little bit better, right? So, there was that. Luther Burden was another guy that looked pretty good out there. When he obviously got the ball put in his hands, he looked good out there. I did like the heads up play from him where it's getting to the end of the first half, and he caught the ball. He didn't try to make a dance move and try to get more yardage. He immediately caught the ball, tried to get out of bounds before the clocks, hit zero, and luckily he managed to get out of bounds with 1 second left to spare, and it resulted in the Bears kicking a field goal to before halftime, right? So that was a really good thing. And again, I think Luther Burden's going to be somebody that's going to be really good for this team. Obviously, it seems like Zacchaeus more than likely is going to be wide receiver three, and Luther Burden's going to be wide receiver four. But again, you're seeing like what Luther Burden can do with this offense and even help out with Caleb, right? Continue to be a better, quarterback and help him out. But yeah, man, he looked good today. He looked good. Colson Loveland, I thought was fine. He dipped his feet there. He didn't do too much, but I thought he looked fine out there. So there's that. Kyle Monangai, I thought he looked good. Today he was a tough runner. I do. People said that his pass pro wasn't the best. Look, I didn't look much at his pass pro. But he did run really hard, and I enjoyed seeing him run. And again, it's a guy that's competing for a spot on the roster to potentially be maybe running back number two. It looks like so far he's earning it. I thought Ian Wheeler also was another good standout player who did well today. It sucks that one touchdown did get negated from him. Um, because of I think an illegal formation or something like that. But he took like a hit, broke out of it, and scored a touchdown. But that was a good play. And then I think he even caught a screen pass. And then, regardless, he's still there. So that's another guy that's fighting for a spot. I am pulling for him as well, especially with what you saw in Hard Knocks last year and everything. So, I don't know how this coaching staff feels about Ian Wheeler because we do know that the Eberflus staff was high on him, but we'll definitely see how high Ben Johnson's staff is high on him. But I thought he looked good. Case Keenum looked good. I think Hawkins, who was the one of the other running backs, he looked good too today. And then Cairo Santos, he looked good. He drilled a 57-yard field goal today, which goes to show you, like, bro, if he could actually kick these field goals, then what the fuck was Eberflus fucking smoking last year? Because if it was something from 50 plus, Eberflus would never fucking kick a field goal or never even attempt to it. He just punt the ball away. So that's the thing. And then I also did like Ben Johnson's aggressive coaching. I know it's only preseason, but to see Ben Johnson go for it multiple times on fourth down, he's bringing that same aggressive mindset like he did with Detroit. And it's preseason. I liked how he ended up wanting to go for it and doing it and, going for it on fourth down. It wasn't the bitch shit that we saw Eberflus do where, oh no, it's a clear cut. We got to go for it. Like, you know, he doesn't do it and then he either punts the ball or kicks the field goal. Like, I hope, Ben Johnson, obviously knowing when it's right and he's a feeling to go for it, like to do it, and be smart with, okay, no, let's just take the points or let's just punt the ball away and trust our defense. But if, but you just have that feeling like, no, we got to go for it. We got to get something going right here, right? If the offense is struggling, and you're at like midfield, but it's like 4th and 1, or 4th and 2, and no, we got to get the offense going. Like picking this up could spark something, right? Ben Johnson knows what to do, and it felt like Ben Johnson in his first game, kind of just coaching, as the head coach. I felt like he did a solid job. He used the timeouts, not hiding them in the back pockets like Eberflus did. He was willing to go for it on fourth down, unlike Eberflus would do, unless he was trying to do it to save his job, and things like that. So I was impressed with Ben Johnson. Again, the only other thing that I wasn't impressed with Ben Johnson was the fact that he just didn't want to play the starter. So we'll see. Hopefully, a reporter asked him the next interview saying, like, hey, is the plan, even though Caleb and the starters are going to play the joint practice against the Bills, is the plan for Caleb and the starters to play in the second preseason game? And hopefully, I would hope Ben Johnson says yes and not the typical, like, we'll see when we get there and I'll announce it and stuff like that. Because if that's the case, you're going to do two joint practices. It's like, bro, come on now. He's got to get some live game reps, bro. Some live game reps. But yeah, but overall, I would say a solid preseason game. Nothing too bad, nothing too good. Um, just all right. It's fine what it is. But anyways, that's just my thoughts. I'll probably do another video with my Uncle Daryl before I head out to Chicago myself, talking about the preseason game, maybe getting his thoughts on some players that he thought stood out to him, and what his thoughts on, not playing Caleb Williams in the preseason game and stuff like that. But yeah, but if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Chicago Bears content or any other sports content as we start to get kicked off for the NFL season. So yeah, but again, if you guys like the video, leave a like. And yeah, but till then, guys, catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you guys hopefully on Thursday, or Friday, and then hopefully Sunday night or after Sunday night, or if not Monday morning, give my thoughts about what the Bears look like after the Bills preseason game for week 2. But anyways, catch you guys later. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.